This edition of the Rhode Island Spotlight is made possible by CVS Health, because health is everything. Despite the warnings, despite the messages, despite all of the public education, teenagers are still smoking. The good news is Rhode Island has the second lowest percentage nationwide of teenage smokers at 8%. But how to get the anti-tobacco message to them, especially if they're trying to quit? Well, if you have a teenager, you know one of the best ways is to text them.
We know that text message is a teen's primary mode of communication. So I really wanted to do something with text message that would help deliver encouragement and education to the remaining 8% of Rhode Island youth who smoke about quitting.
Erica Collins helped develop a program for the Rhode Island Department of Health called T2BX. In texting parlance, text to be an X.
Under 18 and want to quit smoking? Try the Rhode Island Department of Health's new program, T2BX.
The interactive program is made possible by a grant from CVS Health through the United Way, and is the first of its kind in the country.
This text message program is completely unique. There are other text message programs where you can receive help and encouragement for all sorts of things. But the thing that makes this one different is that it's tailored to the needs of the smoker, and it's two-way, so they can have a conversation and a dialogue with a trained tobacco treatment specialist.
To begin, text START to 88206.
When you enroll, you immediately will get 5 back-to-back text messages from the program saying, hey, and it's all to introduce the program.
Aaron Bowles-Welsh is the Tobacco Control Program Manager at the Department of Health and has overseen T2BX since it was launched in January.
What we found was that youth wanted to know about the program before they start telling us about themselves, so we can develop a relationship with them.
The program was 2.5 years in the making, and the department engaged Rescue Social Change, national experts on changing high-risk behavior. The company did research and focus groups in high schools across Rhode Island.
Who are they hanging out with? Because they have found over 10 years of this research that the social groups that youth hang out with says more about their behaviors and who they are and what they like and what they're doing than other standard demographics. Rhode Island's 2 highest youth smoking groups are those youth who associate culturally with hip-hop music and with alternative music. And they have a much higher smoking rate than the statewide average.
So they launched a targeted advertising campaign with online music services like Pandora and Spotify. And they set up a Facebook page that is regularly updated with encouraging messages, articles, and videos.
Because we didn't want to reach all youth. We wanted to reach only the 8% that were smoking. So even our media campaign that promoted T2BX is very, very targeted.
The research also found something interesting. Among the 13 to 18 crowd, it is the high school smokers who want to quit.
The middle school kids who were smoking, they still thought it was cool, and that's why they smoked, because they thought it would make them look older and be cool. But by the time we got to high school kids for our focus groups, the high schoolers already wanted to quit. They had noticed that they were sort of the pariah in high school. Other kids did not. It sort of separated them from the pack.
You know, we're not talking about kids who you'll find most traditionally involved in school activities or other types of traditional activities. So T2BX was designed to reach them where they're at. It's designed to speak to them in a way that's very familiar and casual and quick texts.
When teenagers text in, they are connected with a real person and going forward get a combination of live and automated messages, depending on the situation.
That's a big part of what makes T2BX unique, is that there is a person there. It's half and half. There is an automated system that handles most of the basic communications, but if that youth needs to reach someone and needs to talk to someone, They can. There's someone there.
When they type in the word crave, they'll be sent a short, funny, silly video on YouTube to get them through the current distraction.
And that's all done through texting?
All through texting.
So even the initial questionnaire and everything else?
Everything.
It's all texting.
All texting.
There's a little method to that madness, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to have some kids sit down at a table and fill out a form, right?
No, no. We have a short code. It's the medium that they're most comfortable with.
And it's not just cigarettes these days.
E-cigarettes, flavored cigars, all sorts of tobacco products have creeped up with nice flavors and enticing candy-like wrappers. And as those things sort of hit the market and become more popular, youth start to use those more frequently. So we do have our work cut out for us.
The Department of Health's goal is to reach 10% of youth smokers in the target age of 13 to 18. Through the first 5 months of the program, it met 81% of that goal. That translates to about 260 participants so far. The department finished the first phase of the program June 30th. It will use the summer to analyze data, including all of the text conversations by participants, and tweak the program, with a relaunch date in September. So what have they found so far?
There's about 21 active days that a youth will participate in the program. And very preliminarily, we see for those youth who are moving through the program in the way that we had designed the program to work, meaning that they're answering back to the texts that they receive, that they're giving us either a quit date or helping us to understand which stage of change they're in. For those who are using the program in the way it was designed, that about almost 40% are moving from one stage of change into another. Now they're estimating, maybe a dozen quit attempts before you can actually quit tobacco. So if we're successful in moving someone who has never thought of quitting into someone who wants to start to think about a plan, that's really how tobacco cessation works. You're slowly moving people through a process that hopefully one day will end in a quit attempt.
The CVS grant will also allow the United Way to run anti-tobacco youth training programs beginning in the fall. Their goal is to build a statewide network of young people promoting a smoke-free lifestyle. Are other states looking at you?
Absolutely. They're really curious. We have several states who want to hear, after we do our first round of evaluation, to hear how this went.
And the goal remains the same.
We wanted youth to be able to subscribe, text in, get distractions and encouragement when they needed it, and feel like they had a coach or a buddy who was there and had their back.
It's like a coach who helps you quit by text, cheering you on 24/7.
In Providence, Jim Hummel for the Rhode Island Spotlight.
To begin, text START to 88206.